Hey, what's up everyone? This is Tim Penner. We're here in Tygon Studios today, and I want to do something a little bit special. A little while ago, FutureForm came to me and they asked me to do a remix on their upcoming release. The release is called Red Ball of Dawn, and the original track is done by Verve and Antine. And they sent me this piece, and I was absolutely blown away. The original is a fine piece of work. It's absolutely stunning. So when they asked me to do the remix, no hesitation, I had to say yes. Very happy to be on board for a couple reasons. Besides the fact that the original is so amazing, the label FutureForm is doing some absolutely amazing things lately, and I was very happy to be on board. So they asked me to do a tutorial on what I do when I receive a remix pack and what I've done to take their original samples and incorporate them into my own production. Hopefully you can find a few tips, maybe a couple techniques that you can use in your own productions, or maybe just take a glimpse into my world and what I do when I make some music. Anyways, let's get right into it. I got a few things to show you here, so let's go. Okay, so I'm going to start right from the beginning here, right from the point when I received the remix pack from FutureForm, and we'll go through some of those sounds here. They did a really good job at organizing the sounds. I know sometimes I'll get remix packs and there's just loads of sounds and it's all in one folder and it's really hard to sort through. So these guys did a really good job. They organized it based on instruments, percussion, and some MIDI clips that you can actually take and use in your track and use your own sounds to make them your own. Where I'll usually go is once I hear the original track, I'll pick out different ideas and themes that I like that really kind of speak to me, and I'll go looking for them right away. This is the pack of all the instruments. You can see everything here from chords, sweeps, bells, all kinds of things here. So I'll take these and I'll just import them right into Ableton where I can sample them and rewarp them and go over them a little bit more in more detail. Obviously, this is a fully created track, but I'll just create a channel like this and I'll go through and I'll just start listening to them. The sounds these guys made are unbelievable. They're nice and clean, they're really well processed, and they're long. So you have a lot of choice here on if you hear a sound that you like, you can probably do something with it and make it your own. Now, a couple that really spoke to me was this one, the main melody process, and the main melody raw. So the one's just processed, the one is not. This one's got a little bit more of a rich, deep sound to it. The other one that really called out to me was this res pad, and you'll recognize that one right away if you've listened to my remix. That really creates the groove and the atmosphere for the track. This sign up is another one that I used. So out of all these parts, I maybe used 3 of them, maybe 4, including the little bass here on the sign up one, and a couple of percussion I used. But I really like to percussion to me is kind of near and dear. I like to really use my own and create my own feel and my own atmosphere with my own percussion. So I don't usually use a lot of percussions from original tracks. I just like to use my own, but we'll get into that later. Now, where I started on this track was with the res pad chord, and I just started right out of the gate, right from the first kick. I grabbed this res pad. Now, this one is a little different than the one we just listened to from the pack. It's deeper. I've actually transposed it down 12 steps. So it's a little bit deeper and a little bit richer. And that's the way the track starts. Now, the one big difference between this one and the original, this one's got a little bit of ducking to it. And I'll show you how I did that in a minute. Once this one develops a little bit, I bring in a second layer, the exact same sample, unprocessed, but at the original pitch. Okay, and that one's got the ducking on it as well. Put them together. Starting to create more of a groove based on the original here, which was just straight up. Just a straight up sound like that. So I added a little bit of a groove to it. I did that through side chaining with a tool here actually that Danny Oliveira created, and I love this one. It's just a really simple reverb, just kind of customized a little bit, but the sidechain here is sidechained to what's called my bass, and my bass is up top here. I've got 3 layers of bass lines, and I do that quite a bit. Actually, sometimes I do 3, 4, 5 layers of bass, as long as they're not conflicting with one another and they add to the groove. I'll layer that stuff up quite a bit. But here's my bass. It sounds like this. Just a real basic sub bass. And when you put the 3 of them together with that side chaining, okay, that's where the groove of that sample comes from, and really the groove of the whole track. After that, you add a little bit of a kick to it, and you've really got the start of a track. Okay, sounds pretty familiar based on my remix. That's where it all started. And once you've got a foundation, you've got a bed for everything to sit on like that, it becomes a lot easier and a lot more fun to build on top. So what I did after this, now just so you know, the first 2 minutes of my tracks are generally just an intro. And most people do it that way. Obviously, the DJ needs to mix in the tracks. So you give them tools and sounds and teasers to what's to come in the rest of the track. So this whole process here, the first 2 minutes, just development. And I'll bring in other sounds here. So like this main melody process, that's one of the main melodies, obviously. Something like this. I didn't do any extra work to it. All I did was add an auto filter, because I find this is one of the easiest tools to help blend your sounds together, especially in an intro like this. So if I go to the beginning, the whole top end is cut out. And it just slowly comes in through the track. The layer down below it is the exact same sample, but I've added one of my favorite effects tools by Native Instruments. It's Guitar Rig. If you don't use this, get it. It will change the way that you put effects onto your samples. It's amazing. You can do a little bit of work, you can do a lot of work with it, and you can really destroy the original sounds in a really good way. So this second layer, run through Guitar Rig, little bit of EQing on it, and the auto filter with reverb sounds something like this. Okay, you recognize that one. That carries through the whole track almost. And the last one, just to top off the last little bit of this intro. Okay, same sample. So that's one way that you can take one sound, create 3 different layers, put them all on top of each other, and build a brand new sound, which is, it references the original, but becomes your own unique melody as well. Okay, and all of these that we just went over, I'll put them all together just in this particular grouping. Now, here's another effect that I like to do, and I know there's a lot of tools to help you do this, a lot of glitching tools to make it easy for you to glitch, but I have to urge you to take a little bit of time sometimes and go in and manually glitch your sounds where you have full control. That does a couple of things. If you can go in and manually glitch your own things, you know it will be the same every single time you play through your track or render into a new version. If you use some of the tools, sometimes the glitching will be different because it uses its own processing. So if you want it to sound the same every time, do it yourself, but it gives you control back. And it does take a little bit more time to go in and cut it up and copy and paste and do different things like that. But it can really be beneficial in the long run. It can be a little bit more creative. So all I did was just add a little bit of glitching on those 3 melody samples. Just a touch, and that bridges into the first drop in the track to where the groove comes out. So the whole first 2 minutes here has just been a little bit of a build. So there you go. Where we're going to go next is I'm going to continue going on with these original samples here. Another area that I've been getting a lot of comments in and a lot of questions about how I did it was in the main break and into the big build-up right in the middle of the track. And this is something that I've been doing for quite a while to really take it to another level, but not take it too far. So it's something unique, and I'll show you a little bit on how I developed this. But we've got all the same, basically the same as the intro here. You can see the melody process, all 3 layers here, the groove that we developed. I even added, which I didn't show you here before, there's a 3rd layer of this res pad, which is actually transposed up, and that adds a little bit more texture over top. But I showed you earlier the folder with the MIDI clips in it, and this is one place. This is a MIDI clip from the original. And I just pulled that out. I think it was actually from a bass. You can see one of the bass lines that they used in the original track. I didn't use it as a bass. I moved it up a little bit, and I added, it's got its own melody to it. So a reference to the original, but done in my own way, because I think this is really what caps off the break. This is where it brings a whole new element into the remix and makes it my own, and just helps build up into this massive climax which comes up. You recognize this synth here. This one comes up, it just kind of floats up over top, just using that same auto filter right from the beginning of the break. Starts out nice and low, and I find when you just start with a nice low soft synth, that really drives within people, and once you bring that up with the auto filter, it'll take a break, or it'll take a segment up in 5 notches. So almost at a peak there. Now the real key component of the remix, which people have really been drawn to in a really amazing way, is this break here. And it's actually this synth that I just showed you, but I've added my own effects to it. Okay, you can do this with manual panning. I have done this in the past, where you can actually add panning to a track. But in this particular case, I used another one of my favorite tools, and it's called Sound Toys. And Sound Toys has a suite of effects that you can use in there. And that's what I used to create this, and I actually automated it all. You can't see the process here because I had to remove that recording channel, but it was I'd automated it, and I'd actually been controlling this through my MIDI controller in order to get that to slow right down and add the panning. So this particular channel probably took me, to get it quite right and slow it down in the right way, might have taken me about 2 hours to do the automation and find, the right touch of build up here from the original synth, blending those two and making it sound like one sound. So this was kind of the turning point there once I was able to get that down. But if you can spend a little more time on one particular sound, it just takes the track to the next level. Again, some manual glitching at the end. That's really easy. That's not complex at all. And a little bit of another effect here that that just helps to add to this drop here. There you have it. That was one of the main components. Take your time with this stuff. This is really a key moment in the track. So find that place. Try to find a way of making those builds and those breaks more unique, and you'll help to find your own style that way. A lot of people will just build up, same old break as always, just kind of break down, drop the kick, build it back up again, and in comes the kick. So I like to be a little bit more unique. Sometimes I'm not, sometimes I am, it depends. Anyways, that's that. That's how I used all of the original samples from the original track. And those were all the key parts to what made this remix so special. So that's basically the remix in a nutshell, at least everything I'm going to show you in this session here. I do hope there's aspects that help you. I'm sure a lot of you, you have your own techniques for the way you do things, and you're going to look at this and go, why did he do that? Why does he use this? But you know what? It's all in the tools, and you all have your own tools, and you use them your own way. And that's what makes this style of music so amazing, is that you can literally take these sounds and you can make them into anything you want using any tool you want. I do hope you can take something away from this. I would love to hear all your comments and questions. I'll do my best to answer them all, but if there's anything that you liked or you didn't like, or just let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer you. Anyways, that's all I got for you for now. I hope you enjoy the track. It's out on FutureForm. I've gotten such great feedbacks so far, and I appreciate all the support and all the love from all the fans out there. It really means a lot, and it makes me feel really good. I'm really excited about this release, and I hope you are too. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. I got some big things coming up very shortly, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Otherwise, enjoy and keep making that music.